Good evening, everybody. It's time for the Sahuarita Tea Party breaking news update tonight. And we're on a couple minutes early, but we are going to have Dave Gowan as our guest tonight. Senator Dave Gowan. He's the state senator in Arizona. And Senator Gowan is going to talk about the Independent Redistricting Commission tonight. And we have a presentation. So I'm going to get him on right now, so just stand by for a minute. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're waiting for Dave Gowan to join us, and I believe the Independent Redistricting Commission was formed, first started back in I think it was 2010, because that's when we reorganized LD2, the current Legislative District 2, and that's what the maps are drawn under, or were drawn to at that time, what we're living in now, and. Of course, in the political process, we got completely shut out almost. Out of 12 elections to date, over those 10 years, we've won one election. So it hasn't been good for conservatives and Republicans in LD2. So, but David's going to talk about how we put all that together, how the commission, who composes the commission, how the commission members are picked, and how many commissioners are on it, where they come from, who picks them, which I think I said, and what's the end result, and. So it's kind of an interesting process, and as soon as Senator Gowan joins us, we'll get into that. Right now, everybody's in a little turmoil now with the election and what's happening now. It seems like the latest is that. With all of the legal action being taken by President Trump across the country, it's kind of panicking the libs, and what they're doing now is playing up the pandemic, trying to get some of this, trying to put a halt to some of the legal things and some of the recounts and that kind of thing. They're really pushing the pandemic again, the pandemic button. So. That's the way they do things. That's what they like to do. So, obfuscate, delay, not tell the truth, and cheat at elections. So I'll just come out and say it. We know they cheated. We know they cheated in Arizona. Now, there's some concern in Arizona about this Dominion software and what's going on with that. And we're wondering, some people are wondering, is the state paying any attention to, is the AZGOP and the Trump team, the legal team, fighting all this and trying to get a recount in Arizona? Are they paying attention to the Dominion software problem, and which we're told affected Arizona? So that's something they need to look at. I guess I'm confident that they will. The word's out on all this stuff. So we're going to take a short break, and we're going to wait till David Gowan joins us, and then we'll get back into redistricting and ask him some questions about the legislative not only the legislative district and the map drawing process, congressional districts are affected too, by the way, which we may have an additional one this year. It looks like we're going to have 10 instead of 9. But also we're going to ask him about the Secretary of State in Arizona, Katie Hobbs, resisting having a recount and what can be done about that. I'm hearing that there's some cries from legislators to have a special session, trying to get Ducey out of his office to call a special session, and that the legislative district, the state legislature can go after Hobbs and get this recount going in Arizona. So, and I think the latest difference I heard now is 11,000 votes or something like that, 0.4%. So we'll see. So we'll be back in a minute. Stand by.
Can you hear me?
I hear you, David. How are you, sir?
Okay. I'm, I'm trying to figure out. You can't
Howdy.
see me though, huh?
Yeah, well, you probably you have to go to your video settings and turn on your camera, probably.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Boom.
Hey, there you are.
Am I on now?
You're
Okay.
on.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, you sure are. So, very
There we
good.
go.
How are you?
Boom. I'm well. How are you?
We're good. We're good. We're I'll get you over here on the YouTube screen now, and we're doing fine, David. We're just anxiously watching what's going on nationally with everybody else.
Tell you what. I tell you what. How do you do these? How do you do those backgrounds?
Well, I did this for in your honor. I did this for Ken Bennett too.
I like it.
I found a picture of the Capitol and put it up so you'd feel at home while you were talking to us.
See,
And that's your building on the left, right?
let's see. Well,
Senate left of the Capitol is
when you're in the Capitol, it's to the right. I'm just saying.
right. Now I'm saying, looking at the picture, it would be to the left. Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. There you go. So listen,
Let's see what I got.
before we start with your presentation, I want to ask you. I've seen some calls today because of Secretary Hobbs's resistance to a recount. She's digging her heels in. Is Governor Ducey going to call a special session of the legislature and get this thing going?
I don't know. We are. I've been talking on the inside to do that, but other than that, we're waiting to see if he does something.
Yeah. Do you?
I would like to see one. Yeah,
Go ahead.
I would like to see one.
Yeah, I would think so. Now, you guys evidently, my understanding is if he calls the legislature back, you can get the recount going in Arizona. Is that true?
Well, if he calls us back, we can change the law and do anything. I mean, it's legislate as long as it's
Right.
not unconstitutional, right?
Sure.
So
sure.
what is actually happening on our side right now? We're talking with the leadership's talking to our lawyers and the Jude staffer and such to
Mm-hmm.
try to figure out what is lawful, what isn't, where can we proceed if we do, and those different aspects,
Okay.
and then start getting a vote count
Yeah.
stuff if we're capable.
Right. Okay. Well, we wish you good luck because we want, we want to get this recount going. We want to get Arizona in the Trump call.
Oh, I know.
Now, this morning, Kelly Ward said they were down to around 11,000 votes different, about 0.4%, and she would give another update in the morning. Have you heard anything different?
No, I've not heard anything
Okay.
different than that.
Okay.
What I'm doing is I'm bringing up our while I'm talking to you,
That's okay.
just bringing up the my presentation stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So I
So
have
I
it in
have the
front of me.
page. I have the pages numbered for 1 through 9, like you did. I put it on PowerPoint so we can show it, and it's up for the folks now on page 1, which says redistricting,
Okay.
an overview by Senator David Gowan, LD 14. So, whenever you want to start, I'll move the chart ahead and we'll get going here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what I want to do is, I appreciate you doing this, Don.
Oh,
I
of
wanted to
course.
make sure everybody out there knows what's happening, how this works, redistricting, because there were so many questions in the past time. All the questioning I got when I was first elected after we got in, when Frank and I got elected.
Right.
Once I got in, they really pushed towards the redistricting process, how it works. So I thought, well, let's get ahead of this.
Yeah.
I'll just come out to the people and talk about it, right? So that's why I had Fletcher, who's my staffer for, as you know, and many might not, though, I am the appropriations chairman for the state senate. So with that, I put together the budget for the state, and I have dedicated staffers. I have a couple of them, and this was put together by Fletcher Monzingo, who actually staffs my appropriations chairmanship. So with that, that's what you're seeing. Hopefully, you're seeing that. I don't know what you're seeing.
Yeah. You're basically handling, what is it now, 11, 12, 13 billion dollars?
Yes, we are. What are we about a billion, 11 billion, a little over 11 billion, I believe. And then the which I explained before when I came and spoke. Um, at the beginning, we were $1 billion in the surplus,
Right.
and then COVID hit, and we dropped 2 billion, which put us a billion in the hole. But over the time frame, and then up into the summer, we actually brought those dollars back. The economy that we have, I mean, we're booming. This state is awesome, and of course, the nation is a blessing to our president right now, right?
Right.
Who really put this effort into place, who's a businessman and showed what a businessman can do.
Yeah. Exactly.
So from there, we got into the summer and we were able to collect, I shouldn't say collect, I guess. We were able to repair and get on track. The economy was, and we were able to get to where we're 60 million in the hole.
Well,
So a
that's
billion in the hole to 60 million in the hole. So,
that's yeah.
$940 million was made up.
Yeah.
But now, today, we are 90 million in the surplus.
Oh, good.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
So that's the good news is at the end of the day, uh, we still lost 910 million so far, but we think that's going to shrink. I do. I think it's going to shrink to where we lost probably about 800 million. I think we're going to be around 200 million in surplus this coming cycle.
Well,
So we'll
that's good
see.
news. That's good news.
It is good news, but
Yeah.
that's good to what the people of this great state put out for us, right?
Yeah. That's right.
Uh, they care about their state, they care about their families, and we're able to. But you know what? We're able to hold on to to the legislative majorities, and that's what I was speaking about out there. Is Republicans did this for us.
Yeah.
So even though you saw a little bit of maneuvering by the Democrats, and they were able to take our national side, the state level we recovered pretty heavy. It looked pretty dismal at the beginning, but then at the end, we kept our legislature. We also were able to, in Maricopa County, which is the most populous county of our state, obviously, it
Right.
has 4.5 million out of our 7+ million. Um, we were able to maintain the majorities there with Republicans as well. And at first, we were way down
Yeah.
because those early ballots came in, but then our people came to the polls, which we thought they would, and we recovered,
Yeah.
which is great for us. We also took a seat from them. We took the county recorder
Oh, good.
from Maricopa,
Good.
which I believe the former county recorder is the reason why we have maneuvering and why we have a Democrat Secretary of State, and the first senator's
Yeah.
Democrat. But
Yeah. Exactly.
so now it's flipped and it's in our favor. So it's a good thing.
It's a good
So we
thing.
have some good news amongst bad news,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah. Well, we're going to get Trump in there eventually, so we're confident that that's going to happen across the
yeah,
country. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, it looks like the court so far sided with the president in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Said that
Yep.
you
We
can't
heard.
change the law by well, I mean, legislature changes laws, right? That's kind of like what happened to us earlier this year when a federal judge says, "Hey, you know what? No, I don't like that. This is when you end your registration.
Yeah. I
We're gonna
know.
push it out another 3 weeks." What are you doing? Like he had any authority, but that's the way some of these judges are right now. They act like they're kings.
Yeah. I
But
know.
we took it to the Ninth Circuit, excuse me,
Yeah. They came
and
through.
they had, well, kind of.
Kinda.
We had a three panel. They said, yeah, that was improper, right?
Right.
And it was
But we just can't.
unconstitutional.
Yeah. We just can't
But
cut it off, right?
we're not gonna cut it right now. We're actually gonna give you another day and a half to finish up. What?
Yeah. I know.
You just
I
said
know.
that it's unconstitutional.
I was talking to somebody about that and say, Well, how did they decide? Why did they decide that day, right? Why was that the magic day? You know, they didn't like what the judge did, but why was that? Why was that
I,
so etched in
I,
stone that, you
that
know?
that's well, and that's why we have a legislature and an
Right.
executive branch, and
Yeah.
those are the ones that legislature creates bills and governor signs them, and then they become law.
Yeah.
If not, then they don't, right? But
That's right.
the point of the fact is we're a republic. And there's a
Yeah.
reason to be a republic and not an oligarchy like some judges would like, or a direct democracy, right?
Yeah. And, Secretary of State Katie Hobbs has several times that I haven't been counting on my hands, but I know there's several times that she's tried to write election law. And,
Yeah,
and she's been stopped in most cases. And I don't know what the law says right now about recounts, but, man,
it's recount is I was
is
just
it a
reading
percent?
it's
Is just
one
stated by
percent of a
1%?
percent.
Okay.
It's a
So
percent of a percent. So that's how
unless,
close you have to be.
unless the legislature does something.
Well, the legislature, I guess, unless the legislature does anything that
Right.
we can do that's under Constitution, right?
Right.
So if it's not unconstitutional, then we have the ability to go in and then ask for the moves. So,
Okay. Well, I'll let you get started on the
all right.
redistricting slides. And
I
so,
know a little update, huh?
yeah. So
So
I'm on slide 2 now.
you're on slide 2. So we got past. So we're at the redistrict creates the districts
Creates the
for
districts
Congress
for
and
Congress and
legislative. Okay.
legislative district. Right.
So it's interesting. A lot of times you'll see in the news or maybe on the internet or what have you. We need to count everybody. We need to do all that because we need to be able to get the benefits. As many people as we get more money to our state from the federal government. Da 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 da. Well, that's not what redistricting's about. I mean, that it became about that because obviously we put the 16th Amendment in with the income tax, right? So it is part of that now. But what its purpose is totally meant for is redistricting. And what the Great Compromise that the founding fathers gave us, they one issue of that was the U.S. House of Representatives, and that the larger populations get more representation in Congress. So the larger your population is, the more U.S. House members you can receive. So that's the whole purpose of redistricting. I mean, excuse me, the census is for
Right.
that purpose. Right. And as you many well know, with the 17th Amendment, it eradicated a piece of the Great Compromise, which was the legislative bodies of every state respectively put forth the U.S. senators to Congress, and basically they were the watchdogs for the states at that point. So we didn't have to worry about the Senate because they were placed in. You got 2 per state, period, and that's what equalized that, so that the Pennsylvanias, the Georgias back then weren't able to just take over and
Right.
and rule the federal government. So that was your Great Compromise. So out of that, we get the census. And so it's done every 10 years. And of course, it determines who we vote for, right? Right now, we have 90. We have 90 legislators, which is 60 House members and 30 senators. We always have 30. We've not changed that. I think it's been 64. 1964 we're the reason why we have one man, one vote ruling in the U.S. And what that means is every person counts as one vote when you create a district. And so they have to be equal population per district of sort, up and down just a few percentage points. So that happened in 64. This state used to have 2 senators per county, kind of resembled what the federal government looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were sued and lost, and that's why you had to break up the Senate into districts. And then what occurred was you created 30 senators and then 2 House members per district. So that's how that came about. So we're not changing how many we're going to have. We will just have more people in each district we have now because we've grown 1 million people in 10 years.
Yeah.
So with that, we will get an extra U.S. House seat. That is, I think that's about 99% sure. So we have 9 right now U.S. House members in Congress, along with our 2 senators in Congress, right? So right now we have 11 congressmen, right? You have your 2 senators and 9
Right.
uh, House members.
And when they
I
redraw
believe
these,
we're going to get a 10th.
when they draw these new maps, they'll have to include a 10th new congressional district.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think you'll see a drastic restructuring of what you see there on I think that's the next page, right? Current Arizona districts.
Yeah.
So if you look there, to your left, you'll see the legislative. You look to the right, that's the congressional. I don't know if you can blow that up a little or not, but you can see that like hook thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what occurred last time, if you recall, which I know many of you do, I know you do, the independent, as we call independent, you have 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats, and 1 independent. The independent favored the Democrats because we believe she really was.
Right.
So what you see here, the reason why they drew the congressional seats in those 2 large districts at the top that way is so they can dilute the District 1, which is blue there,
right,
and make it look like it can swing when it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so it really is a Democrat district. It has rural Democrats in it. So sometimes nationally, like for the president, that last time went for the president, by the way. That district did. But it didn't go for the House seat. So it was interesting. It went for the Senate seat too last time. So it's kind of strange it does that. But when it gets down to the basic, it seems to stay Democrat for the purpose of what it's drawn for.
And I remember before 2010, before we redrew these maps, I think that that CD, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was 9 or 1 back then. It was numbered, but when Gosar ran against Kirkpatrick, and she voted for Obamacare, and Gosar beat her, that was the first time he got into Congress. And that,
yes,
yeah, and then they redrew.
But that was the old districts,
right,
and then they redrew.
Yeah.
And the interesting point of this, I'll get to. The reason why they had to do that is because they needed to slice up the Republican vote. If you were to take that and you come up, if you know where Yuma is down there in the lower left-hand corner,
Yeah.
that's Yuma.
Right.
You get a little above that, that's La Paz, right?
Right.
And if you were to take that where you see the crevice come in, looks like a V shape sideways there.
Right.
If you do that and you cross that across the top part of the state, and you made that one district, because that's what it'd take. That would be the population, just so you know. That is the least populated region that way, and it'd be that big.
Yeah.
You do that, that becomes a Republican district strongly.
Yeah.
And so they didn't want to do that. That's why they did this, reach way down and make two of them this way, you know?
That's
and
what
created
you
that.
call gerrymandering, right?
Yeah, why did the people put this in who wrote this and put it on the ballot? Why'd they do that? So they get rid of gerrymandering. There's no such thing. You can't get rid of
That's right.
the ability to do politics. And the problem there is, here's the worst thing, is when this thing was voted in, it voted away the people's power to speak to me,
right,
and say, hey, I want you to draw this way. And there's repercussions for me if I don't do what my constituents want.
Of course.
Well, with this, there's no repercussions. Yep. So it gets to be crazy. So that's, as we experienced last time, how many times did we go to them and say, we want this, 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 this? And they didn't listen one time. Apparently, when they do that little cut there at the bottom, and that's Oro Valley, Marana region, you see that last part of the blue at the bottom to the left.
Yeah.
So they knew what they're doing.
Oh,
and so hopefully we'll see what happens here. And I'm going to get to what it looks like now. But remember, these 5, the 5 we had and the 5 we're going to get, we have 4 right now. A 5th one's coming. The 5 we have will draw these maps on both sides.
Right.
And here's the sad thing too. When you see on the left side here, when they were drawing those maps, these 2 maps, we had a super majority in the Senate, we had a supermajority in the House for the state
Mm-hmm.
legislature.
Right.
We were super majorities, and then they drew us out of those supers.
Yeah.
And then they looked at how the shift would be. They kind of projected in the future how it'd go, and they almost got there.
Yeah.
They still couldn't do it even at the end because we're a Republican state. We still
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Well, I was
And
going to say it's really a credit to you guys and to the candidates that you guys have been
well,
able to hold on.
it is, but it's a huge credit to our constituency out there. We are Republican at the heart, and we go and we fight.
Yeah.
We're not going to lose this state. We're going to fight to the end.
Yeah.
So our hope now is that after we get the fifth one, we'll see how that fifth one reacts. But it looks pretty good when we look at the pool of who's there for those.
If they can agree
We
on
have
that, right?
well, they have so that's interesting. So that's what we'll get into, and I'll show you how
Right.
that works.
Right.
Okay, so the next slide there that it shows what we've been talking about. The redistricting is done by the independent. I do this because is it really independent? Independent Redistricting Commission.
Yeah.
And that was when I was talking about this, it changed Article 4, Part 2, Section 1 of the Arizona Constitution. We actually, in our state, we're one of the few states that we're a progressive era state. So as such, we had in our Constitution allows the ability to initiate a constitutional change. Now, what does that mean? Initiate a referendum. Referrals come from the legislature, from the legislative body. An initiative comes from the people. So in our state, you can essentially go get a napkin and write out a constitutional amendment change you want, get it to the Secretary of State, go get signatures, and it would go on the ballot.
Mm.
And it's not honed in. I mean, that's why we have a republic, right? We elect people to come up and do the business because hopefully legislature has a pulse on the political world and what's happening within the state, the economy, everything going on. And the founding fathers thought tremendously about a republic comparative to a direct democracy. Direct democracy just leads you into anarchy because you eventually you have to have somebody controlling at the top to prevent the chaos going back and forth because I know we all change our mind often, don't we? We do.
Oh yeah, we're human beings.
So we are.
Yeah.
So proper stance that I prefer is you have a referral to the ballot, and then the people will say yes or no to the constitutional amendment. That's, in my opinion, the proper way to do it because then it's honed in our committees. We talk about it. People can come up to committee and put their 2 cents in, and we can hone the process and say this is it, and now we have a product to present to you.
Right.
Well, when you just write it on a napkin. Now, literally, some people have written on a napkin. I kid you not. When I say
believe
this,
that. I believe
so,
that.
But okay, say you take a tablet out and you actually write it out. Okay, either way, but you're doing it from out in the world, and then you present it, and then people can say yes or no by 50 plus 1%.
Right.
Think of that.
Right.
That you can change our Constitution with 50 plus 1% after writing it out. So that's what this was. This was not a referral by the legislature. This was the public decided, somebody in the public said, hey, this is a good idea. Let's do this. Now, I will tell you, with the big dollars that you've seen come in from the left in Washington, out there, New York, Illinois, and of course, California is the most.
Mm-hmm.
California pumped just millions and millions and millions into our state. Why? Why do you care about our state so much? Well, they want to take it over for one thing, but they can't stand that we believe in our freedoms, in my opinion. And so when you can do an initiative process to put on the ballot, you pump in out of state money all the time, and we become the experimental state of these issues. So as you just saw 2 come into play now, we have 2 new laws that the legislature can't affect because of 105, Proposition 105. But that's another story that I can come back on for you because that'll take a little bit. And I want to because we need to reform it.
Yeah,
need to
we will.
reform it.
Yeah, I was going to say we need to talk about that later.
We do,
We'll
we
do
do.
another show and talk about that because
Yeah, absolutely.
207 and 208
Oh,
are
but and there are
BAD.
others. There are others. I mean, the minimum wage
Yeah.
bill. All these are put forth by initiatives, and it's protected by a constitutional amendment put forth by an initiative.
Mm-hmm.
So the legislature, it can't be the Republic in these areas now. They almost become constitutional. So
Yeah.
we'll get to that though. I will. We'll come back on, Don, and actually talk about how Prop 105, where it came from, why it's here,
Yeah. Good.
and why we need to reform it badly.
Excellent.
So, um, so now we look at the next slide here. I think we are. I gotta squint sometimes.
I'm on 5.
Okay, that's Independent Redistricting Commission approves new districts. Is that where we are?
I'm at. Let me
Oh,
see.
you went to the next one.
Yeah, I went to the next one. Commission on
Okay.
Appellate Court Appointments.
Okay, so this is how the nominees are selected by the commission. Remember, I told you we have a 5-member board is what
Right.
it'll be, and the pools that are created come from this commission. It's Commission on Appellate Court Appointments. Here's a great thing: the governor has been on top of this. I will give him kudos. He's been on top of this. When I was speaker, my last year, my last budget when I was speaker, we did we pushed the law out to fix. I shouldn't say fix, to add 2 new Supreme Court justices to our state Supreme Court. We used to be 5.
Right.
In my last year, we were able to push out the 2. What a good legacy! Because what occurred was it made them stronger conservative body for us.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, we voted on 2 of those this time out to retain them. We voted on 3 Supreme Court justices, but 2 of the new guys. The first one was Brutinel, who is the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Just so everybody feels comfortable, if you voted yes to keep him, it's a good thing because he used to be the Republican Yavapai chairman.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very strong in our position, but very very mindful of the Constitution, which we like.
Right.
So if it's Constitution, not like we're saying, why'd you rule that way? Well, he can consistently say it's the Constitution.
Yeah.
So he is that way. He's not an activist, but he has our values, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So the commission is a 16-member appointment board, and they're nominated by the governor and confirmed by the Senate. And we can't have more than, if you go down through the list here, it's more than 8 of the same party, and no more than 5 non-attorneys from the same party, no more than 2 non-attorneys from the same county. So you can only have 2 in each. In other words, Maricopa can't just run this thing.
Right.
And no more than 3 attorneys from the same party, and no more than 2 attorneys from the same county again. So the issue here, why the governor has done well, is because we have 8 Republicans on it, and then we have half of the rest, I believe, are independents,
Okay.
which tend to lean in a more conservative manner.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
So he's been able to do that, and that this is proof in the pudding. The justices that were put towards him, given to him, this commission gives him 3 to 7 judges to appoint from that pool.
Mm.
And that's why it's so important to pick judges from the Superior Court to the Supreme Court. And proof's in the pudding by looking at that Supreme Court. That's my point to you, is to look at that. You'll see it's very, very strong in a good conservative constitutional manner.
Good.
And so because of that, we thought, well, they'll be able to do a nice pool for us, seeing how they deal with the Supreme Court justices and appellate justices and Superior Court justices. And another proof in the pudding, just so I could throw out there, is it in the previous times, this commission would usually just give 3 judges to the governor, just 3.
Right.
Since he's been in there, most of the time it's 7. So he's done us well. So
Good.
now, why is that important? The importance of this is they create the pools. So we need them to choose 10 Republicans in a pool, 10 Democrats in a pool. This is from the Constitution now.
Right.
And then 5 independents in independent pool, which could be any other party than the two majors.
Mm-hmm.
So they had done that. They did it quickly. They honed it down. I think we had 130 plus apply. It might have been 150 plus apply for these pools. They narrowed it down rather quickly. I think within 2 weeks they narrowed it to the pools. Then we chose, and how you choose is the Speaker of the House is the first to choose out of the two pools of Republicans and Democrats. Well, and independents, I guess, but
Mm-hmm.
traditionally we're picking our own party. So we chose David Meal. David Meal is a developer out of Oro Valley. We all know Dove Mountain. Dove Mountain and the Ritz that's up there.
Mm-hmm.
He built that out, and he owns half the Ritz. By thinking about who he is, his background, he's a very strong Reagan Republican. And when I say Reagan Republican, I mean like we believe in socially and fiscally conservative.
Mm-hmm.
He's a strong Christian, and obviously believes in the economic side, as you can see with the developing side. So
Yep.
he's a very strong Republican.
Good.
Period. What we would think is a platform Republican, and so that was the first choice. And from there, we moved to the next step, which gave the minority leader 7 days to choose at that point. So that's how the Constitution works. The Speaker chooses, and we all have to do this before January. I know it's somewhere in January time. Do I have that?
Before you guys go in session?
No, it might be. I know January 31st, it all has to be done,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
So it might even be amongst that. But anyway, once the Speaker does the first appointment, the minority leader of the House has the next choice in the constitutional order, and they have 7 days to choose. Well, the minority leader tried to sue on the independents and tried to do a stay for picks so that we can argue the point of the independence.
Mm.
Well, the judge came back on the 7th day and said, no, there's no stay here. But we can talk about the independents and see. There were 2 that are in question. Whether they, one, they tried to say is a lobbyist, which is disqualifier in our Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
The other was because, they're really a Republican. That is really the argument. And this guy's been an independent since 2005. He retired out of the Navy. He owns a gun shop in
Oh yeah,
Flagstaff.
I heard about him.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I
so
heard
he
about
let some people have a Trump rally
Right.
out there on his parking lot and stuff.
Yeah.
So they were arguing this that he really isn't he really is a Republican. He really isn't an independent. Well, he's been registered like the Constitution has stated. You only have to be 3 years, by the way, and not be a part of any group, right? You can't be elected to any body,
Right.
and that includes precinct committeemen, which is
Right.
just they really went down into the grass,
And
right?
I have to be honest. I have to be honest with you, David. If I would have known that, I think I would have not run to be a precinct committeeman because I'd have rather been on the redistricting
Yeah.
committee.
Yeah. This went really quick too
Yeah.
in the process that it went fast. That I had people saying, "Hey, can I get on that?" It's done. It's
Not now.
done. I had to tell them, yeah. But you're right, and I will tell you, it's something to look at next time to think about.
Yeah.
You have to be previous to your appointment 3 years of whatever you're in. So either in a party or not.
Right.
But you cannot be elected to anything and be in a hierarchy of anything. Basically, that's
Right.
that's the cardinal rule there for that. So at any rate, they went after these two independent. They're not going to win on the guy in Flagstaff. That's just absurd that they even do it. It makes them look stupid, in my opinion. But
Yeah.
hey, the other one they may have. He actually is registered lobbyist in the Corpcom, not at Secretary of State, where we believe that's what the intent is.
Hmm.
They can't have been lobbying us at the legislature and then drawing the lines for us.
Got
That's
it.
what the whole intent we believe
Got it.
was. So we'll see how that plays out. But she had to pick hers, and she did that day. And then she picked her name is Shireen Lerner, and she's out of Maricopa County. She's a professor of anthropology at Mesa Community College.
Yeah, she
So
probably knows a lot about redistricting.
yeah, at least the inner workings, right?
I can
Somewhere.
see her drawing maps all the time.
Or draw areas. Oh man.
Yeah, there you
Looking
go.
for bones, right?
Yeah,
She knows where they're buried. The bones are
you know
buried.
where the bones are buried.
So, so after that, it became the president's turn, and she had 7 days. Well, she took half a day,
That's
and
Karen
then
Fan, right?
yes, Karen
And she,
Fan.
she probably had it in her. She probably had the name in her
Well,
on the tip of her
yeah, there
tongue.
was there was some. I mean, we were already looking at our stuff,
Of
and
course.
so in that area, it was
Yeah.
yeah. We already know, and it was Douglas York. He's out of Maricopa County, and he's the president CEO of Ewing Irrigation Landscape.
Uh-huh.
So
Another
business owner.
businessman.
They're
Yeah.
really large there, and he is a very strong Reagan Republican as well. So that's the issue that we have out of our pool. We picked two strong platform Republicans,
Okay.
which is a good thing for us who fight that know that understand. I mean, these are big business guys, so they're not going to sit back and just relax on it.
Right. Let
They're
people
going to
roll
say, hey,
over 'em.
we need
Yeah.
this, that, and that. So then it took the minority leader, I think, almost to his 7 days, and that is he chose Derek Watchman. He's out of Apache County. He's a president of Sagebrush Hill Group LLC. He does a lot. He's a member of the Navajo Nation, and he does a lot with the Navajo Nation
Hmm.
that way on the
Okay.
reservation. So that was a choice he had. They couldn't choose out of Maricopa anymore because you had Meal and not Meal, Shireen and York are from Maricopa.
Okay.
So you can only have two from one county
Okay.
again. So we have two out of Maricopa, one out of Pima, and then the other way out in Apache. So that's the interesting factor there.
That's good. Yeah.
So it's a good thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So what about the fifth member? Now we can back up one more. We had. I know I went to the end there.
No, that's
Um,
okay. You just let me know what number and
yeah, it's going to be the second to the last now. Um,
okay. Slide 7,
in yes, is that
qualifications.
7?
Yeah.
Did we do quality? Yeah, let's do qualification.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. So no more than two, maybe from the same party. Again, like I was saying, no more than two, maybe from the same county.
Right.
Okay, so you have to have two. When it says same party, we're thinking in traditional terms, we're Republicans, so we picked two Republicans. The Democrats picked two Ds, is what they did. Could we have picked an independent? Probably. We just had never done that in the past. This seems to have been the tradition right now
Yeah.
in the manner that's been chosen.
Sure.
So they must be registered voter with the same party or unaffiliated with a party for at least 3 years prior to appointment. And that's what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
They cannot have been a candidate appointed to or elected to any political office, including the precinct committeeman for 3 years prior to appointment. And they cannot have been a lobbyist, officer of a political party, or a member of a campaign committee in previous 3 years as well. So, in other words, you just have to be. So, in the Republican pool, you just have to be a Republican,
Right. Right.
And in the Dem, you have to be a Dem, and independent, just independent. Can't be in any structure at all.
Right.
The basic rule. So,
Good.
what about the fifth member though? Now, right? So we're talking about because you just saw we have the two Republicans, two Democrats out of the pool of 10 and 10 from the
Mhm.
Appellate Court Commission. Now, the Appellate Court Commission created the fifth or the five members pool
Right.
for the independents.
Right.
Well, what happens now is the four, so you got four,
Right.
at least three of the four have to choose one independent,
Okay.
or if not all four.
Yeah.
But if they don't, by that January 31st, I know that, it goes back to that commission on appellate court, and that commission on appellate court will choose one for them.
Okay.
This is how powerful the independent is. They become the chairman,
Mm-hmm. Right.
and that chairman basically is your swing. So we'll see which way they swing to start the draw. I believe the pool will be, it favors us as I see it,
Okay.
and I think this commission knew what they were doing, and I think the Democrats are a little scared now
Good. Good.
on that issue.
Yeah.
And so I know I had the independents. I just need to find that slide. I don't know if you had it there. Does it show the independents?
Not the names, but
Okay, I actually had the names. Um,
no, he didn't put them in the slides.
he did not.
No,
Okay. Well,
which is fine.
yeah, I was just going to give you. So out of those five, there is that one who is he's a gun shop owner out of Flagstaff.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lady that is, she is there's a flower shop owner. So there was one that actually got in the pool of five and said, I don't have time for this. I think I'm going to withdraw my name. So the
Really?
commission had to go select one more
Oh, okay.
for that committee, and they did. And she's like a flower shop owner up in
Oh.
Scottsdale.
Okay.
So you have that. Then you have a lady that is she works with APAC strongly and is a strong advocate for Israel. Then here I brought him up. I got him. And then you have a gentleman, and then her name, by the way, is Nurburg, the one that's experienced. She's a psychologist and political advocate who has engaged in pro-Israel advocacy for 25 years.
Okay.
The gun shop owner, he's 20-year Navy veteran and current owner of Timberline Firearms and Training in Flagstaff. And he's been a member of various organizations, including Greater Flagstaff Chamber of Commerce and some other things that way. You have Gregory Teasdale, is actually from Pima County, experienced business executive, 37 years of experience of technology companies, and other consulting assignments, including roles as CFO, COO. He's a Coast Guard veteran as well.
Okay.
So then you got Thomas Lokovim. He's current general counsel and vice president of corporate services at EPCOR. And he's been with APS as well as a general counsel. And Megan Corallo, owner and lead designer of Flower Bar, a floral shop in Scottsdale. She also has previous experience in data analysis, and she's a member of the Scottsdale Chamber of Commerce. It's interesting. She has an economic degree, master's too. So it doesn't show that on this. I know that though.
Well, that sounds like a pretty good pool.
It is. It is. So that's your pool there. That three of the four, right? So we got the four, and three of those four have to choose one. If not, goes to that commission and they select the one, and then we have the pool of five.
And they pick from the same five if it goes to the court.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then now, once the five are in established, they will select an executive director.
Okay.
And then they will select the Republican lawyers and Democrat lawyers, basically, for each side. Here's the crappy thing that happened last time, that we knew this was all a farce period, right? What occurred to us last time is the Democrats selected the Republicans counsel for them. So the D said, we want you to have this, and the independent went and voted with the Democrats to give them that.
Yeah.
So that it was all at that point we knew it. And if you recall, she was actually removed, but the courts
Right.
at that time,
I
which was a
remember.
different court,
Yeah.
said no, you can't remove her, which that was unconstitutional,
Right.
and we should have just held to it, but we didn't.
Yeah.
You know how things go. You get politicians in the world out there. Sometimes they get weak knees, but
Oh
I
man.
know Frank and I were pounding away. Frank voted to pull her off of there,
Yeah.
Antonori, I should say, and
He
then
probably wanted to go grab her.
oh yeah, it's absurd. So so now going forward, they'll choose that, and then they'll choose a redistricting company, a company that maps,
Yeah.
that can help them map and look at how the dynamics are in the
And
state
they start the
and do that.
meetings
And
all
then they'll
around the
start laying them
state.
down.
Yeah.
And then they'll start having meetings.
Yeah. So when do
Something
they
tells
have
me
to?
this
When?
committee will listen to us.
Yeah. When do they have to be done? When do they actually have to
They
present something?
they don't.
They don't.
They don't. They just
They
we
have
don't
all year to put it all
right.
together.
But most likely they'll get it done within the summer, so we know what the lines are, so people know what to run.
Right. Yeah. And you'll have to, and everybody has to reorganize to the new
Yes.
maps. Right.
Well, and I'll probably run a bill this year like we had last time to allow it'd be what we call a session law. So it would just be a one-time law. And what you do is like we did last time, allow people to get signatures in their old district as well as the new, so that they can, because we won't know while we're collecting signatures. Once we're canvassed here, once the election cycle is done for 2020, I can go sign up for the seat again and collect signatures.
Cool.
So we can collect signatures in a couple days. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah.
How will I don't know. I don't know what the lines are going to be. So
Right.
allow me to collect where I am, and then when the new lines come into place, allow me to keep those old signatures. So
Because of your
you know, you're,
population, because of your population in Cochise County, it's unlikely they would carve up Cochise County, isn't it?
no, I don't think so. I think we'll have a similar look.
Yeah.
I can only imagine so, and
Right.
see how that plays out. Got to carve some out of mine to give to something over next to me, per se yours, and then take some out of the Oro Valley region, Marana region,
Yeah.
uh, up there in that top, and give it in so that we can actually create one more district down here. I would tell you, if we're going to be a Republican legislature, which we will be, it's better to send Republicans up than to send Democrats up to do nothing for us down here.
That's right.
And
And
it's been a
we are living proof of that,
you
David. In
you
LD2.
certainly are. You certainly are. You've had it good, and now you have it bad, right? So
Oh man.
uh, the issue there, where we've been blessed, is that you've had a good crew up there that's able to get in leadership. You know,
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, between
Agree.
my district, all three of us have been in leadership at
Yeah.
some point.
Right.
Um, Gail's been the whip twice.
Right.
Becky was the whip here.
Yeah.
I've been Speaker of the House and Majority Leader in the House. So I had 4 years over the House side, and now I presume I'm staying approach chair. So if I am, I stay within the confounds of being the leadership. I sit in leadership meetings with the president, the majority leader, and the whip
Now that's great.
when we talk about things.
Yeah,
So
that's
we've been
great.
strong.
Yeah.
And up there in the district where in Oro Valley, Marana, which is LD 11, Vince Leach has been my vice chair, but he's also sat with us in those leadership meetings.
Yeah.
And
Boy
now,
was the Cap Times rooting against him.
well, I'm telling you what, you want to know how much stronger he got for
Yeah.
us?
Yeah.
Think of this. You only have two Republican senators.
Yeah.
I will be appropriations chairman, and he will be the new president pro tempore.
All right. Good.
So that's strong for us
Yeah,
in the South.
yeah. Oh, no.
But imagine if you'd at least send us one more senator to help us fight. I mean,
Hey,
that would be
we
a
promise.
tenth of the legislature,
We
right?
promise if the maps come out right, we will send you a senator.
Oh yeah, I know that. I know. I just mean that's why we got to get this redistricting. We have to have our voices heard, is what it is.
So I
and
wanted
get
to
out
tell you,
there and do it.
I just want to warn you that Zoom, we use free Zoom, and they have cut us off before, so we could be cut off now at any time. So if we
Okay.
get cut off, don't worry about it.
Oh, sure. Okay.
But
Okay.
but we can keep visiting for the time being. So
Sure
they
thing.
they should be done probably by the end of the summer, and who has to approve the maps, David?
They do.
They do. Okay.
That's it.
And
And
once
then
they
of course
approve it, that it's a done deal.
it's it, and we'll have court challenges, no doubt, because they do that.
Oh yeah.
It's
Well,
just
yeah. Of
the
course,
process we
you
do
got a
anymore.
challenge when you breathe, right?
Well, you know what's been good. I know Roberts has hurt us on a few issues, but there is one thing he's a stalwart on is state rights,
Yeah.
and he seems to always pull the federal government back away from trying to incur into the state situations, and so he said that with redistricting already. State courts stay out of it, and so that's the issue, and which is good. Now we have a court that agrees with him too on
Yeah.
that matter.
Yeah. Good. Well,
So it's my
listen,
hope.
I really appreciate you coming on and doing this.
Oh, my pleasure. I
And
appreciate you having me.
yeah, we're going to when we're done here, and I have a few minutes tonight to reorganize this. I'll put some words on the YouTube video and describe it in a summary, and then I'll send you the link right away, and you'll have that permanent link to whoever wants to watch it. Whoever can't come see you in person can come on here, and then we've got to get you back to talk about the proposition thing.
Yeah, I'd love to come back and do the same thing we did here with Prop 105.
Yeah.
It needs to be told. We need to reform it. It's well overdue. So
Yeah.
have some ideas on that too.
Good. So we'll do that. We'll plan on catching you before the end of the year. Okay.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And we
And then
wish
as
you.
this progresses, I can come back and say what's happening.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. No, I'd love
and
you
keep it
coming on.
rolling.
I think people are really going to enjoy this, and
And if you want, when I'm up there at the legislature during session, you want to do some session time, I can do that too.
yeah, oh, that'd be great too. Yeah, that'd be
And
fabulous.
I want you guys to come up and visit me too. Come on up,
Oh, we're going
bring the
to.
crew.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going
Good.
to. We'll bring some
Good.
folks up. Yeah, absolutely, because. And we love the request to speak system. We think it's fabulous, and I wish I could get more people excited. I had a hard time getting a presentation done at LD2. I couldn't get on their agenda to explain the request to, kind of a training session for request to speak. So you might mention that when you speak to them about this, because it's important that people are engaged, and they can do that with the committee thing,
And you can sign up at the Tucson Capitol Complex.
Right. I told him that. I said, go down
Just
to
right there off Congress.
Go down to the kiosk on
That's it,
Congress
yeah.
and sign up. Yeah.
It's only two places you can sign up.
Right.
It's there and the actual Capitol.
Yeah.
So
So
we're
we
blessed.
wish you the best. God bless you, sir. And
Thank you, my friend.
we appreciate you very much. You're sure a friend of ours, and Patty and I love you, David. So we love you and
Love
Frank.
you guys
so,
too. You know that. Yeah, absolutely. Frank's my brother, and it was sad that they cut him out on the last day. So everybody understands that. The last day they cut his neighborhood out.
Yeah.
Just sliced it, and then they said, "Here are the maps."
Well, if I know
That's what
Frank,
occurred.
he's going to be back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's still doing his good work for us.
Oh, yeah. And
Still
he's-
serving the nation with Raytheon. So
Yeah, I know. He's so gracious when he comes over here, drives all the way over here to do these stupid little meetings we have. So,
yeah, you know
I
what?
mean,
He loves it. I mean,
I
he
know he
loves
does.
being a part of this, and
Yeah.
as
Matter of
long
fact,
as you
he's
guys
on-
keep loving on him, he'll do it.
Oh, we will. Don't worry about that. So, okay, you take care, sir. Say hi to your wife.
All right, my
and
friend. Thank
and,
you. You too. You too.
If you need anything from us, let us know.
All right, buddy. God
Okay.
bless y'all.
Take care.
All right. Thank you.
See you later.